This is by far the quickest method in exporting a CAD file right into ETABS using structural objects method. So first, let's create certain layers for beam, column, and slabs here. So before doing everything, I like to take up the units. It's in centimeter, and I like to convey this into AutoCAD by making use of this option here. Alright, first let's take a layer and create 3 new layers. First one is for naming convention, I like to name it as a beam and a column and a slab. So right in this case, I have created 3 layers, and first let's try to copy all these objects right into corresponding layers. For that, first let's activate the layer named as column, and right here we are having certain columns which has been drawn in the layer named as column. So let's make use of layer walk command, and okay, I'd like to select the option layer column. Okay, so disable this option, restore on X, and I like to close it. So right in this case, the only layer which has been turned on is the layer belongs to column. So let's select it, and I like to change the layer into a column. Okay, right, that's it. Now turn on all these layers by making use of lay on. If I try to turn off a column option, you can see that all the columns right here has been turned off. So we can conclude that all of these column objects is right now they're in. So we can conclude that all of these columns are being transferred right into the layer which we have created for a column. Alright, now let's do same for the beam. Okay, activate the layer. You should know that these are not beams, these are walls and the beams, and we should draw the center line of the beam. So if you are using any version about 2018, you can go for a center line command, and what we want to do here is pick up 2 lines, so that will create a center line here. Okay, that's really great. I'd like to disable the column option. Okay, hatch option. If you are having, alright, you can go for center line option. If you are having any version other than 2018 and below, you can go for, that's a little bit crazy, you can go for line. Okay, then M2P. Alright, then we would like to pick up 2 points, first point and second point. That will automatically pick up the midpoint of the lines which you have selected right now, and do the same case M2P, and again pick up first and second point. So this line is passing through the middle, so this line stays in the middle of the wall here. So I don't know, it's time consuming process. Going for center line. Okay, pick up these 2 lines, repeat these steps. We are having a beam here. Now there is a small beam, so again we don't want to leave it, keep it right there. Okay, so all of these lines has been passed. Now let's try to activate the column layer and hatch layer. Alright, what we want to do here is, we need to have a corner here, but it's impossible to fillet the center line. So if I try to select these 2 lines by making use of fillet option, it cannot be filleted. So I would like to get into lay walk, and now picking up this layer and close it. I'd like to explode all of these lines so that I can fillet it. Fillet, first one, second point, you can see that. Alright, lay on. Okay, do the same thing. Fillet, first is here and second is here. Fillet, first is here and second is here. All we want to do here is we are creating a corner and we are connecting all of this beam into a single point, which need not be the center of the column. But now you have to understand that in ETABS, if the column and beam is not connected together, I mean the center line of the column is right somewhere over here, and these points of beam are somewhere over here, the load might not get transferred. So there's a solution for this, which will be explained later. Fillet all these lines. Fillet 1, 2, fillet 1, 2, okay. Then we can extend it. Then we can fillet it again. Fillet 1 and 2, okay. Fillet 1 and 2, okay. Again fillet it, fillet 1 and 2, okay. All we're doing is creating a point here, creating a point for our beam column, so that they won't intersect after the specified span. That's it. Fillet 1, 2, fillet 1, 2. Now let's do something right in here. Fillet 1, 2, fillet 1, 2. We have connected all these beams right into the specific points. Now let's try to create a slab. For that, okay, activate the layer for a slab. Yeah, you should understand that slab will always pass through the perimeter line for beams. So we don't want to draw for a slab layers. Let's try to lay walk and activate the layer for beam. And I like to copy this somewhere over there. Alright, so let's try to fill the slabs right in here. Activate the layer for slab. Maybe I like to pick up a different color. It's quite a personal preference, I say. I like to draw this by making use of a rectangle, and the point should be right there at the intersection of column. Okay, the first point is right here, and the second point is right here. Okay, so there is a first slab, and here's the second slab. But if I try to draw a rectangle right from the first point here and second point here, there is no active node here. Node is the intersection point of a beam, or the point where a beam starts. Here we are having a beam from first point to second point here, and so in order to transfer the load right from this slab or right from this beam to this point, we need to have a node here. So I'll recommend you to break it. You can make use of an option called let's break at a point here. So I am deleting this slab, and you can have a break at the point option here. Break at a point. I like to select this line and pick up the endpoint. Okay, so that had broke up. If you're using any lower version, you could go for break. Let's draw a slab rectangle from first point to second point, and from first point to second point. All right, now let's try to draw a slab right here, which is a little bit tricky, but trying to understand the total span is 7 meters. It's impossible to draw a single slab right there without pre-stressing, so I like to split up. I think we can have a slab right here, and a second slab should be right there. So I can go for polyline and pick up the first point, which is right here, and pick up the second point, which is in the same line as that of the center line of this beam there. So you can go either for tracking or go for point filters. I'll snap all right, and I can go for point filters, and I like to go for a point axis right here, and the YZ should be right there. So I'm having a point here, one here, and I can, yeah, next one is here, and I can close it. So this is the next slab. I can move it, picking up the point right there, and I can place it over there. That's it. Now here we are having the last slab. You can go for polyline, and I can say that the first point can be here. One, click here, and next one is here, next is here, next is here, next is here, and you have to click here, which is quite important, and you can close it. So that's it. I can transfer the whole asset by moving it right into the point of intersection of beam. So we have drawn all these three objects there. Okay, now that's all right. I like to save it as a DXF and give it a name. Right in ETABS. I can take a new structure, and rather than picking up grid only option, I don't want to have grids as I'm having the structure right from ETABS. I can adjust the story height or any options right here. Do not go and edit anything right there. Now picking up the blank option and hitting OK. Alright, next get into file, import as an architecture plan. And this is the asset, and I like to pick up the unit is right there in centimeter, and you can have story for, we can export it right into whatever story. I'm not considering that right now. Right, this is the asset right there, and what we want to do here is there's an option displayed right there. If you can see Model Explorer, you can options, and there is an option to enable the Model Explorer right there. And get into here and 3D or plan, whatever you can pick an architecture, that's okay. The first thing what we are going to do here is let's convert this into all story, and let me try to take up the distance, maybe from draw a dimension line. I'm slowly taking up the distance. It can be coming in meters, that's all right. Okay, first let's try to export a column right there. Right click, and what we want to do here is add a column object. That's it. We are having a column right there. Right, let's see. Now let's try to change the material right into here. I am getting into India and concrete, and I like to pick up M25. Okay, now go for HYSD for rebar, and the grade is maybe 550. That's cool. Now let's get into here. You can see that 3 sections are there, and let me try to modify the property. Okay, one is, okay, that's it. Give him a name. Naming doesn't matter. This is 250/800. We don't want to change the name, but I like to change the material for concrete, and maybe right in rebar you can change the properties regarding the rebar. Maybe rather than changing the number right into 3, I like to change the number right in 3 axis to maybe 5 bars out there. That's it. Now let's see the second property, modify that, which is the rotated section of the first. Okay, this is rotated. Whatever name, I don't care the naming. And change the name, and like to adjust the spacing, adjust the number of bar in 2 direction face, which is also 5. That's solely based on your experience. And we are having a last section, and 25, and change the property, which is HYSD. Number for bar in 2 axis should be maybe 5. I think alright, so everything regarding to the beam is clear. Now for column, first we need to define 2 sections. Right, if you check this section and analyze the size, yeah, we are having a wall of thickness 20, and here we are having a wall of thickness 10. So add a rectangle, and this is be a major, beam major, and can be an M25, and the size should be maybe 600 by, well, it's 230. This is a size for a major beam, and I would like to change this option, and understand the cover is always 20. Okay. Now let me add the copy. This is a B minor, and a little bit smaller size, or 500, and this will be like 200. Oh, the smaller beam. It's not compulsory to create two beams, and that's all right. Now let me try to right click on beam. Let me try to use the quick draw beams option and pick it up the property, which is a B major. Come here and pick up B major, and all we want to do here is right click on beam and add a beam object. That's it. But you know, we have a special case here, the beam right here, which is, it should be a smaller beam, so I can get into here and analyze the section property. I can go for a B minor. All of this beam except this beam which you see right here is B major. Right now, let's do the same case for slab. So define, pick up the slab section, and this is slab, okay, and M25, and it should be a shell thick. And I like to pick up the thickness, can be like 150. Okay, come here and pick up an option to draw a quick floor and change the property. All you want to do here is right click the slab and add this area and object. That's it. That's the case. So if I try to analyze this figure, you can see that I hit F5, and if I analyze the figure, you can see that, just listen to this animation. You can see something is broken. Let's try to fix it, and also the displacement are kind of on a larger scale, so let's try to fix it. The problem right in ETABS is, in order to transfer load from the slab or beam to column, the endpoint of the slab or beam should be right at the midpoint of the column. But as you've seen right in this figure, it's not possible to connect all these beams right into the center of the column. So rather, we can have an option to define a link section right in here. I can modify this and fix all. And so that will draw link, and again have the first point is here and the second point is here. So that link should transfer the load right from the beam or slab to column. So I can select the link, hold control and click and select the link, and I would like to replicate this into all the stories except to the base. This is quite important. So that's the first case. We would like to add link everywhere. So draw link from the first point to the point right there. Okay, that's cool. Right in here, first point to the intersection of column, first point to the intersection of column. And I hope you understood the concept. Now we can select object type, and I like to replicate it right into every stories. Okay, now you try to analyze it. that will hold your geometry together. I think it won't show any sort of abnormal animations here. So that's only deflecting in the global Y direction. You can see that the deflection is right there coming in the normal range. If you're trying to start the animation, you can see that is a proper animation. Now analyzing the, now you can assign loads right there. Assign dead load, live load, which is not a part of this tutorial. You can come up with another one if that's the case. And that's it. Thanks for watching. This is by far the smartest method in exporting a CAD file right into ETABS. If the columns are out of order, it really doesn't matter. You can anytime define a link and draw the asset here that will transfer the load right from the slab or beam to the center point of column. Then only the load will be transferred right into column. Let's try to analyze it. And there's only self weight here, I think. And if you go for any sort of support reaction, you can see the asset is right there. You know, one more thing I'd like to tell you is you can see a sort of abnormal supports here. Right in here, this is hard strata. We're not having any sort of slabs here. So there's no problem of showing up any sort of abnormal supports there. Alright, that's it. And if you are happy, do not like this video, okay? Because I won't be showing you likes. Anyways, thanks for watching.